Greetings from the Ministry of Labor, from the National Productivity Development Department. We are happy that you are joining us again. We are happy that you are joining us today again on this 8th edition of the Z Productivity 360 Talk. It has been an awesome journey, and today we are so excited because we are in the Women's Week. And coincidentally, from January to now, we've been featuring women. And I think this has been a very, very, very interesting journey to bring you powerful women who are productivity practitioners and experts. So today we are being joined by Namucana Musiwa, who I'll be introducing shortly. But just to introduce the topic, we are looking at productivity, a key enabler to socio-economic transformation agenda. You are aware that government has set out its transformation agenda and economic recovery. And throughout our discussions from August, when we started these discussions, we've been trying to show how productivity is critical to this process. In our last discussion, I think we endeavored to look at how productivity in micro, small, and medium enterprises can contribute to social economic transformation. Earlier on, we did present to you the productivity statistics of this country, which are actually not sitting very well. We launched recently on Thursday a productivity report 2022 that is showing revised statistics on labor productivity. You must be interested. And to get a copy, either a soft copy or a hard copy, please, you can send me your email in the chat box and your phone number that we should be able to reach out and share this productivity report that we have. So, let's start by introducing our guest, who is Namucana Musiwa. So Namucana is a human resource management profession. She is the founder and lead consultant of Career Prospective Limited, an HR development practice and management firm based in Lusaka, Zambia. In November 2021, she opened a restaurant called Lusaka Central Restaurant, situated in the business district. Ms. Musiwa's career spans a period of 30 years, having worked in various capacities in organizations such as Boat Longyear, Zambia Limited, an Anglo-American company, Prince Construction Company Limited, Sibo Line Limited, and the International Labour Organization. She serves as a board member for the following organizations: Professional Insurance Corporation, Longhorn Associates Limited, Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection. She is a committee member of the HR Committee of the Board of Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation. She has in the recent past served as chairperson of the Caretaker Committee of the Council of the University of Zambia between 2015 to 2020, and on the board of the Bank of Zambia from 2018 to 2021. She was the first board chairperson of the Zambia Qualification Authority 2024 to 2017. In May 2009, Ms. Musiwa was elected president of the Zambia Institute of Human Resource Management, the first woman to hold the position. She is an honorary fellow and life member of ZIRIM, and was until early in September 2022 chairperson of the ZIRIM Women's Network, an organization that she found. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Public Administration major and Economics minor from the University of Zambia. She holds several national, regional, and international awards, including 2 Global HR Leadership and Achiever Awards conferred to her by the Africa-India Summit under the auspice of the World Human Resource Development Congress. Ms. Musiwa is also the national coordinator for the project Girls for Girls Zambia, an international initiative that mentors girls and young women for leadership roles. She's chairperson of Kutia Multipurpose Cooperative, an agribusiness cooperative for women. She is a God-fearing woman and a parishioner at Mary Immaculate Parish in Lusaka, where she is a member of the Catholic Women's League. She's a single mother who enjoys creative and professional writing, playing golf, and cooking in her spare time. She recently also took an interest in in farming. Very wealth of experience from our presenter today, well balanced presenter we have. I actually met Namucana when I just joined the ministry in 2012 when we were working on the Low Growth and Nexus project with the International Labour Organization. She has never reduced her tone. She's always been on point. It's my pleasure and honor to invite on the stage Ms. Namucana Musiwa to greet the audience before she can start her presentation. Madam Musiwa,
Thank
good
you so
morning and
much,
welcome
Yvonne.
to Activity Z360.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction. It was so detailed. I thought you'd cut out some of the things, but thank you so much. And good morning, listeners out there.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome to this edition. It's the 8th edition. And we are looking forward to Women's International Women's Day celebration just in a few days from now. What's your message for women before we can begin your presentation?
My message for the women is that they should keep on shattering the glass ceiling. They should keep on believing in themselves and realizing their full potential. I think as long as they believe in themselves, there's a lot that they can achieve. It's not about competition. We are not competing with the men. It's about collaboration. It's about identifying the fact that we are partners in development. The men on their own cannot develop Zambia. The women on their own cannot develop Zambia. But if we combine our different strengths, our different competencies and skills, we are going to drive the agenda for transformation forward. So allow me to wish all the women a happy Women's Month.
Thank you very much. So wonderful. So we will leave you to do your presentation. Our viewers, please, you are free to send us your question on the YouTube chat. You can leave us a comment, you can leave a question. So Ms. Musiwa is going to make a presentation for about 30-40 minutes, and we will have 20 minutes to respond to your question. Remember, productivity is an enabler to economic growth. It is also a catalyst for our it is also a catalyst for national development. So I do welcome all of you, and please sit back and enjoy the presentation from Ms. Namucana.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. I don't know if you're able to share my slides. I'd want to use my slides, then I'll be speaking to them. But it's a delight to be here to talk about productivity and talk about how it's an enabler in socio-economic transformation in this country. Are you able to show my slides? Yvonne, are you able to share my slides? So maybe let me begin by saying that we all want to transform. Many people are not happy with the status quo. We are not happy with the fact that we are a country endowed with so many resources, but we are not transforming these resources into outputs that can help raise the living standards of the people in general. Yes, we've made some strides, but there's still a lot that we need to do. So I'll begin with a quotation whose author, I don't know. They say that progress is impossible without change, and who cannot change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. So I'm just waiting for the slide so that we move together. Yvonne, are you winning? So I'll proceed. If we manage with the technology, that's all right. But if we don't, I'll still proceed. So productivity is something that's very, very close to my heart. And my heart bleeds when I look at the potential we have as a country. And when I look at what we're able to do, and yet we really don't apply ourselves at the level that we should. So productivity refers to the process of converting resources, inputs into products and services or outputs. efficiently, effectively, and with optimal utilization of human and other resources for the benefit of the organization, society, the economy, and the environment. And we can sit here and discuss the different things we need to do. And you'll agree with me that we know what we need. We know what the solutions to national, to transformation are. And we're already doing some of those things, but we probably need to accelerate. We're not moving at the pace that we should be moving. So the national productivity policy in its forward really points out the recognition that productivity growth holds in our economy, how it's a catalyst for unlocking the potential of our economy. So there are many aims that productivity can realize, and I'll just share some of them. These are not in any order of priority. So productivity can help us increase competitiveness. And when we talk about competitiveness, we're really talking about the ability of what we produce in Zambia to compete at the global stage. We are known for a lot of raw material. We are known for several things that you'll have to go to slideshow, Yvonne. I don't know if you can go on the slideshow and then you tap. I wish I could do it from here. I think that's we're not moving together. That's the earlier slide that you're showing. Anyway, increased competitiveness that will ensure that the products that we produce as a country can compete. For example, we are all trying to move away from a mono economy that Zambia is. And that discussion has been going on for as long as I can remember. So if we want to go into agriculture on a wider scale, we want to export fruits, for example, what's the quality of the fruits that we're producing? Are we meeting international standards? In terms of products that we have to manufacture, are they manufactured according to international standards? Some of the products we can produce rely on inputs that we probably import from outside the country. And if there's no control in terms of quality of what we import, there's no way we're going to produce quality outputs. So allow me to take this opportunity to also maybe call upon the institutions that are responsible for quality control to ensure that we do not import substandard products. If we can control the products of whatever we use, whether it's for production or consumption, if we can control the quality of the products, I think we'll go a long way in eliminating even some of the health issues, eliminating some of the accidents. We've seen a number of accidents on our roads lately, and some of them could be attributed to the state of the vehicles, not just the road and not just the attitude of the driver, but even some of the substandard spare parts that are imported into the country. So there's a lot that happens when you don't conform to quality. So the bodies that are responsible for quality should just step up their game and ensure that we import quality. At an individual level, we need to embark on a sensitization campaign. But before I come to that, I'll probably look at the aims and then look at the action points. If we sensitized everyone on the need for quality from an individual level, I think would go a long way in even if there's nobody buying a substandard product, the seller will not find the market to sell that substandard product. So thank you so much, Yvonne. I see my slides are up now. So we need to build and sustain the productive capacity of everyone. And when I say everyone, I'm not just talking about institutions or businesses. I think it has to go down to the household level. What sort of values are we inculcating in our children? How are we teaching them to be responsible citizens? Simple things like just keeping your surroundings clean. It may sound like a small issue, but it has a lot to do with our environment in general. When I look at the expense that we've had to spend, I don't know how much, I don't know if it's been quantified, how much we've spent as a country on cholera programs, for example. It's very painful. Those are some of the things we could have avoided if everybody was committed to quality just from a tender age. So inculcating values like just the hygiene and cleanliness, values like being honest, having high levels of integrity, rooting out corruption as much as possible, eliminating corruption. It's doable. But all those are things we need to discuss. There's some things we don't bring out in the open to discuss. And those issues affect our ability to progress and enhance productivity. So we also need to create awareness of benefits of improved productivity. If we raise productivity standards or levels at institutional level, the government will make more revenue. Employees will generate more income as well. They'll make more money, and they'll probably have more jobs because businesses will expand. So there's potential for everybody to grow in their career. And if there are more people employed, there are more businesses, they would probably even reduce the crime rate because many people have a source of income. Our aims would also be to ensure production of world-class products and services, and also raise our Human Development Index. We can move to the next slide. We raise our enhance rights at work, improve profitability of products productive sectors, improve safety at work, increase social security coverage, and have a rise in the living conditions. Other aims would also include building and sustaining productive capacity. And when you look back where we're coming from as a nation, there was a time in Zambia when we had industries. Every province had some industry that was producing something. Northwestern province had pineapples. I know we've revived it now, but why did we discontinue? The copper belt had so many different industries. We had Dunlop, we had rope, we had Poget palm olive, we had fabric manufacturing companies. Central province had Kapiri glass factory. Go to northern province, go to Luapula, we had Mansa batteries, we had Kawambwa tea, and kudos to Kawambwa, they've still soldiered on and carried on. Eastern province had the bicycle assembly plant and a lot of tobacco growing as well as cotton. Then Western province had the cashew industry and rice as well as mango. We used to have mango liquid, mango fruit, mango juice that was coming from Western province. Livingstone, the children today don't even believe me when I tell them we used to assemble vehicles. We had ITT Supersonic, we had Livingstone motor assemblers, assembling radios, assembling vehicles. So we were there at one time. We were productive, but along the way, we've become a nation of traders. We have many people who want quick money and they will not want to wait. They don't have the patience to wait for 5 years to begin to realize their returns or their investment. So first of all, we're not as bad as we want to believe. I think we also have what my former MD, Mr. Siwale, my former boss, what he calls poverty of the mind, or poverty, an attitude of poverty. So sometimes we ourselves believe we are so poor that we need help from the outside world. And yet, yes, we do need the outside world, but there's a lot we can do on our own if we just put our minds to it. So how can we need to take stock of what we have in terms of human resource, in terms of natural resource, in terms of time. We tend to not use the brilliant intellectual capacity that we have as a nation. When someone retires, maybe retired in national interest, for example, nobody calls upon them for anything, and yet they have ideas, they have solutions. Let me also mention here that Zambia is over-researched. We are a nation of brilliant professionals, and I'm saying that from from a base of knowledge, because I've dealt with I've been recruiting people for different organizations the last 30 years, 10 years under different companies, and 20 years under the firm that I run, Career Prospects. And I know that we have a lot of people who are brilliant, but sometimes what they lack is the platform where they can showcase their brilliance. We have young people who can innovate, and they have solutions to a number of our challenges, but they do need a platform where they can showcase what they're able to do. Studies have been done in Zambia on different things, and other countries have come here and copied our systems, and they've gone back to implement. For us, we seem to be good at talking and having symposia, having conferences, summits. Why can we not implement the outcomes and the resolutions of these various conferences we have? I think if we tried to implement some of the solutions that we ourselves generate, would go a long way in improving and increasing our productivity. We need to move away from talking. Personally, I'm quite tired and fed up of talking. We talk a lot in this country, where we talk, but don't implement as much as we should. And we also have a tendency of sometimes wanting to reinvent the wheel. If studies have been done on something, can we try implementing the recommendations of the study? Do we evaluate where we are coming from? I must commend government for carrying on with the national development plans. When a new government comes in power, I've noticed that they carry on with the national development plan, and that's a good thing. But the question is, do we look at lessons learned? How is the implementation of those plans? And if government led in terms of directing effort, directing the mindset change, I think would go a long way in achieving our objectives. As much as we want to not politicize everything, our leadership, the political leaders who drive our economy, have a lot to do in terms of setting the pace and promoting a paradigm shift. John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our vision as individuals can only be as big as the vision of our leaders. So we need to really hold our leaders accountable. Do we question some of the things that they do not do when they've committed or said that they're going to deliver certain things? As a nation, I see people who sometimes turn a blind eye to things that we should be addressing. We don't want to, you may know about a solution, or you might see somebody going in the wrong direction, but because they are senior, we don't want to embarrass them, and we'll let them do the wrong thing when we know it could have been done in a better way. So it's all about probably depoliticizing certain things, depoliticizing the civil service, and also individuals taking their place, going out there to contribute as an individual without worrying about whether you'll be looked at as the ruling party or opposition or non-aligned. So really, it's a call on our leaders to allow people to be free to guide, people to be free to propose, and also provide the different platforms at different levels for people who are able to provide solutions to transformation to do that. I've talked about embarking on a nationwide paradigm shift. We cannot transform or win without us agreeing that there's a problem and then addressing that problem. It may even require us being angry at the status quo. For me, I get very, very angry when I look at what we have, and as opposed to what we should be doing, and we're not doing it. So we need to analyze our moral and ethical status as a nation, how the levels of sincerity, the utilization of resources, the commitment to development, just from household level, going to organization and going to society. We need to inculcate a culture of commitment to core national values at all levels. And when I talk about values begin right from home. As soon as a child is able to speak, they are able to hear. That's the time when we need to try to shape their values. And I know that we believe that you cannot change the mind of an elderly person. I tend to disagree. An elderly person can change as well if they are made to change. So probably bylaws that would punish wrongdoers, like if we look at cleanliness, for example, if somebody litters or they start burning things at night, we have these bylaws but are they implemented? If they were implemented, if I know I'll be penalized for throwing a piece of paper on the street, I'll probably not throw that piece of paper on the street. So maybe punishment may help. It's not a good way to manage adults, but we probably have to go in that direction. There's no reason why a country like Zambia, with all the water that we have, Zambia enjoys more than 40% of fresh water in the region. There's no reason why a country with so much water should have cholera at its doorsteps. It's a shame. So we need to have talked about holding each other accountable already. Could we move the slide again? When we look at productivity, we're also looking at the business environment. How friendly are the policies for businesses, especially small businesses? A big chunk of the formal sector, in fact, both formal and informal, is made up of medium, small, and micro institutions. What support is available for those who want to produce and contribute to national development? The cost of running business in Zambia remains high. Yes, we give credit to government and policymakers for trying to streamline processes and licensing requirements, but there's still a lot of work required to promote local businesses. It's the small businesses that generate employment for many of our youth. But also, as we talk about employment, maybe we need to also look at our education system and see whether we are changing or transforming the curriculum to encourage young people to also go into self-employment. Our education system prepares someone to work for another person, but if there aren't enough jobs available, we should do more of mentoring the young, maybe having business incubation labs or things like that, where the young people can learn to manage their own business. They can set up teams or cooperatives or businesses. They can do partnerships where they come together and start a business. But of course, they need to be mentored. We can move on to the next slide. So when when you look at the UNDP Human Development Report, we seem to be getting worse in terms of the human capital, in terms of human development. So your human capital is the potential for the health of your people, their capacity, capabilities, and even attitudes. So our Human Development Index, according to the UNDP report, in 2019, we were at 0.59, which was in the medium category, and we were position 143 out of 189. When you look at the report for 2021, we are at 154 out of 191, meaning we've moved away. We're doing worse now in terms of our Human Development Index. That's not to say we do not have the capability or we do not have the skills. Zambia has trained a lot of people. And if you look at the sub-region, some of our professionals have developed other countries. When you look at the systems, the education systems in neighboring countries, their health systems, Zambia has done a lot to contribute to systems in other countries. But the challenge is now applying what we have, applying what we know to our own situation. And that's where we need to do a lot of work. And nothing can happen if we have the same mindset. We really need to do a lot to improve our mindsets. We need to keep talking about it, to keep sensitizing each other. They say that attitude is everything. I like sharing Kazuo Inamori's formula for success. Japanese professor Kazuo Inamori says, for any individual to succeed, they must combine 3 elements. They must combine. He says success is equal to A times A times A. So they must combine, first of all, the ability to succeed at whatever you want to do. You must be able, you must have the competence and the skill. Now, ability alone will not help you. Ability is something you possess, but if you do not apply it, it won't take you anywhere, which is why after I read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, I changed I started disagreeing with my teachers who used to tell us as we were growing up that knowledge is power. Napoleon Hill says knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. You can have knowledge, but if you do not apply it, it's not going to help anyone. So Kazuo Inamori says the first A is ability. You have to be able. And how do you become able? You learn. You can learn by observing, you can learn by doing, you can learn by enrolling into some institution. There's prior learning, and there's also the formal learning that people learn when they're attached to other people, or they're educated by a teacher or a trainer. The second A is action. Apply that knowledge. And for us as a nation, we have so many knowledgeable people. Some of them have been making contributions, and the contributions have fallen on deaf ears and they've given up. Others just don't care. They mind their own business, and they think, they just get on with what they're doing. So if you have the knowledge, let that knowledge help society. And that's, for me, that's what success is. If your knowledge is going to contribute to the advancement of mankind, that is success. So the second A is action. Apply what you know. The third and most important is attitude. Attitude, that I cannot overemphasize the importance of attitude in everything that we do. As a country, or as a continent, we can have many learned people, we can have many educated people, we can have all the money that we need, we can have all the resources we need. But if there's an element of negativity, all our efforts will result to zero. They say attitude is everything. They say one person with a negative attitude out of 100 people will start spreading the negativity to each and every person they come across. And before long, the whole institution is tarnished. The whole institution has negative-minded people. It's like a virus. It spreads like a virus, a common cold. One person has a cold in a room of 20. Before you know it, half the room are suffering from from the cold. If you are eating groundnuts and you throw several in your mouth and one nut is rotten, do you spit out just the bad nut? You spit even the good. So as a country, we have what it takes to transform the world, not just Zambia, but we need to believe in ourselves first and foremost. Then we need to hold each other accountable. If our leaders are not doing what they were elected to do, we need to take them to task. If you work in an institution and your superior is going in the wrong direction, do not agree with everything they say. Learn to speak truth to power. Just be confident, be assertive, be diplomatic. The challenge sometimes is the words that you choose to use when you are disagreeing with your superior. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. You can disagree and provide the advice and guidance, but you need to choose your words properly. So, in conclusion, we need to change our mindsets for the better and keep doing it. We need to ensure that those among you who are leaders must walk the talk. And the leadership is not about titles. As long as you are managing other people, as long as you are determining the future of other people, it can be your children or your siblings, you are a leader. So leaders must walk the talk. Are we doing what we are saying? Are we practicing what we preach? Then we are in the fourth industrial revolution now. To what extent are we as organizations and as a country embracing automation, embracing digitalization? Are we looking at our processes and ensuring that we are more efficient by embracing technology? And again, just believing in ourselves. I think that's prime. Let's begin with convincing ourselves we can do it. A lot of times people begin with saying, no, it can't work, or I can't, it can never. But if we say, yes, I can do this, it starts with self-belief. I think we'll move mountains. I don't know how much time I've taken, but thank you so much. I will invite questions. I'll hand back to the moderator. Thank you. You are muted.
Sorry, thank you very much, Namucana, for the presentation. I've learned quite a lot, and I've taken a lot of notes. I hope the viewers have also done that, so that we don't just talk. I love the fact that you mentioned that. I think we talk a lot in Zambia. We are all tired of talking. I'm also tired of talking. But what do we need to do? So from your presentation, I picked out actually what fits into what we call a productivity ecosystem. To improve productivity, we need to have interventions at the macro level. You've talked about the policy environment, the business environment. All these should be able to provide an enabling environment for people. You also talked about systems. That's at the meso level, at the association a middle level. We need to provide for proper systems that should be able to help us achieve, what has been provided for in terms of policy. But much more, you've also emphasized what should happen at the micro level, at individual level, the issues of mindset, the issues of culture, the issues of education, and many other important aspects. But I also love the idea that we must now be talking about moving, this paradigm shift, moving from where we were culturally and also in terms of the certain beliefs that we have into a better future. We've provided a lot of guidance to other nations, but where are we ourselves? It's actually saddening to see ourselves with all these natural resources, talking about all those high levels of poverty and high levels of unproductivity. I also share your pen actually on that. I know one president who used to beat people who are very unproductive, and I think that's the way to go. We just need to begin to whip people so that we are all aligned. So let me just check if there are one or two questions with us here from our viewers. I haven't received any question from our viewers. I'm only receiving compliments and people just agreeing to what you've talked about. And probably maybe an issue that I need to follow up with you, since I don't have any question, is the issue of depoliticizing, especially the citizens. How do we ensure that our citizens are more focused in terms of their contributions to national development? How actually do we do that in practice? Because there are certain things that we must be talking about, and that we've just taken as politics, even when they mean so much to us. So maybe you can just elaborate a few of those insights on how citizens especially can be depoliticized and how they can focus on trying to contribute positively. I know you talked about providing a platform, but I mean, we have social media. So how best can we do it? Maybe just your reflection or follow up on that.
That's a very difficult question, Yvonne, and a very challenging issue to deal with. I think it's something that cannot be done overnight. It's something that can be done over time. I think maybe the media plays a key role there. When you look at media and the stories they cover, you'll find they probably focus so much on political stories and what people are doing in their political lives. But with a lot of sensitization, I think we can move away from focusing on politics. And if we try to sensitize the general public about their role in development, where they must not always wait for government. There are initiatives that can be done by communities. There are initiatives that can be done by individuals. You don't need to go through a particular ministry for something to be done. But again, this has to be maybe demonstrated by our leaders, by the politicians, what the way our systems are arranged and the appointments that are political, it's a little, we're a long way to go in terms of depoliticizing. So maybe if we began by maybe picking the civil service, for example, can some of the positions, the permanent secretary position, if a permanent secretary was probably appointed by a board, for example, or they went through a meritorial process for appointment and they appointed strictly on merit and not appointed by the political leader, maybe there'll be a difference. I know that the appointments are based on the expertise, but there's an element of loyalty being to the executive when somebody is appointed by the executive. But if there was some kind of merit in terms of how people are sent to the level of PS, I think it would make a difference. When there's a new government, and can we look at whose performance before determining who leaves and who continues? And then when there's the civil servants themselves are not supposed to be political, but we've seen some civil servants being, quite politically active. So it will take a while, but we shouldn't give up. We should maybe have more business stories and try to encourage people to read about business. There are people who've succeeded in life without necessarily going into politics. Can we highlight those stories and share those stories and let people see that, yes, we need the politicians to call the shots and make certain decisions and to create certain policies at national level, but the business community also plays a key role. Thank you.
Very, very, very important side. Another important aspect that you've talked about, I think that also moves me, is the issue of digitalization. You mentioned that we're in the fourth industrial revolutions. And the question that I ask is that from your own perspective, are our people ready to embrace this digitalization, the artificial intelligence? Are they ready? Is Zambia ready as we move on this transformation agenda? Are we ready?
I would, I think to determine that we may require some study, maybe a baseline study to look at the levels of appreciation of technology. But I think what hinders many of our people is just the cost of living and the cost of these services. To just subscribe, to have internet connectivity is an issue because the cost is not so friendly. So that's a hindrance. So maybe if the cost of digitalization could be lowered, the cost of ICTs could be more affordable, I think many people would embrace it. It requires, and then again, you need to look at the generations. The younger generation are quite agile and are quite ready to embrace technology, and then they do a lot of, they utilize technology as much as they can. It's the BBCs, the people born before computers, who sometimes have a challenge with, with coming to appreciate technology. Then some of the policies in some institutions are not moving in tandem with technological advancements around the world. For example, there's still institutions, I want to mention them, there's still institutions in Zambia that do not accept email letters. If a letter is emailed, it's not regarded as of it has to be a hard copy printed and delivered. That's what's, So our policies need to change, but we also need to just keep sensitizing and encouraging people. There are people who think that, by the way, I commend the Productivity Center for this program. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. Here we are using technology to have this discussion and reaching, many people without going anywhere. But we still have a lot of people who think it carries more weight to meet somebody in person or have face-to-face conversations physically. So it's really, I think we're ready, but we need to accelerate.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Maybe the last thing also that I think we can also discuss more is the issue of use of skills. I hear you when you say that we attend a lot of conferences, we attend a lot of meetings where serious resolutions are made. And when we come back, we just come back the same. I remember attending one meeting, I'll not mention it. And it was the first time I was attending that it was an international high level meeting. And as we were coming out, I think around 18 hours, I met some of my colleagues who were actually asking me, so you mean you were in this conference for this long? And how would you take such things so personal? Never send us under serious definitely. Why? So, and then
Yeah.
now these are people who've been attending such kind of meetings, and then they tell you that, and then I said to myself, okay, so what's the business of these meetings? Is it to
Yeah.
pick out or just to empower ourselves? I think I hear you on that point. We need to do a lot in terms of how we utilize the information that we get from these conferences that we attend. I think we are spending a lot of money on them. So what
Yeah.
is the benefit of this? What kind of follow-up activities or actions do we make for this? I think this was a very important observation. It all goes back again to issues of mindset change. And maybe you wanted to comment some more on this issue on utilizing these skills as well as the knowledge that we gain from everywhere else we do. So here we are. You have given us very good insights that is going to help transform this. So how best are our people who are listening going to embrace these discussions that you have brought to us?
Yvonne, talking about skills, we need to develop a national skills database. It's something I actually sent a proposal to the Ministry of Labor just when the new dawn came into power, but I need to follow it up. I don't know if anything has been done. Right now, I don't know if we even know what sort of skills we have as a nation. How many engineers, how many civil engineers, how many electrical engineers, how many coded welders. So we need to have a national skills base, and we also need to talk. Industry should talk to learning institutions. And if industry and the learning institutions talk more, learning institutions will be able to design training, their curriculum, to suit industry, because you find the change has become so constant. There's changes, we are hit by change every day, and you find someone who's doing a 5-year degree program at a university, by the time they are getting into industry, the solutions they're equipped with were used for 10 years before they joined the industry. So we do need the skills database. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's not even a joke, it's a true story. A Zambian went for surgery in South Africa. And guess who the surgeon was? A Zambian. So we have a lot of unsung heroes. We have people who don't talk about their achievements or capabilities. So we need to identify them and use them. When there's research done by our colleagues from outside Zambia who are engaged to come and conduct some research or conduct certain studies, they use locals. They will hire a team of Zambians to do the work. So we have people who are knowledgeable, but we are not using that knowledge. We have people who've retired from certain jobs or from civil service, but are still young enough to still contribute. But we've just, relegated them to farms and just ignored them. So I think we need to get back to the drawing board and see what skills we have and how we can utilize them, and how are we imparting new skills on the young people. Is there skilled, transfer of skills and things like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Those are very important sites. But maybe for your comfort, right now a skills survey is underway. I think
Yeah.
officers are out there trying to collect data to
Wonderful.
compile the second skills survey report. I'm sure once that one is done, you should be able to see some of the things that you have raised. Another comfort that we can give you in terms of the retired, we're actually doing a project in collaboration with HelpAge International and Support to Older People Zambia, where we are calling it enhancing the productive capacities of older workers. So you and I, when we exit the labor market, who's going to know about our skills? Who's going to know about this contribution that we can make to national economic development? So I will actually send you an invitation, because we did some technical studies, and the consultant is done with the
Wonderful.
with the report. So we'll be disseminating this on 14th and 15th at Taj Pamosi Hotel. So I will extend my invitation to you so that you can add to this, especially focusing on retired. I'm actually very passionate about that.
Thank
Oh,
you so
thank you
much.
very much, our
Pleasure.
listeners. And thank you very much, Namucana, for joining us and for these very important insights that you've provided for us. If you need Namucana's presentation, please do not hesitate to email me or to send me a message on YouTube with your email address. That is, then I will be able to share the presentation with you. It has been a very wonderful discussion, and we've had a lot of people following this. This is very encouraging. We encourage you to embrace this kind of discussion, share with others. This is a monthly program. We are always inviting experts to talk about productivity on Tuesday, the first week of the month. So join us again next week on Tuesday. That should be, let me just check to confirm. That should be 2nd April 2024 at the same time. We will be able to give you the name of our next presenter. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also to hit the notification button so that every time we go online, you are able to be notified. So I want to wish you a productive month, a productive Women's Month for that matter, and Youth Month for that matter, all coming with a lot of energies to improve productivity of this country. So God bless you, Namucana. We wish you well,
Thank
and
you.
we value the contribution that you make to this nation and also your passion for productivity. As from the National Productivity Center, I hear, waiting to collaborate with you on how we can sensitize and how we can reach out to as many people as possible in terms of productivity enhancement. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you. And God be with you until next time. Goodbye.
Bye.